Arsenal have secured their first summer signing of 2025. In a window where all the focus has been on the forwards, the first agreement was definitely unexpected. So today we'll go over the odds behind Arsenal's move for a new keeper. We'll also break down the important reports from Germany about Benjamin Sesko, as well as discussing a move for Rafael Leao. We'll break down a midfield masterclass from Martin Odegaard, as well as Spain's Martin Zubimendi. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bass14 and welcome back to your boys channel and I hope you guys are doing sensational. The transfer window in its first week and Arsenal have got a signing over the line. Today we'll break down everything that is happening, so as per, smash like on this video if you do enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help your boy on the road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's midfield masterclass. The Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard, after a very indifferent season, 3 months out via injury, returning in December but not quite hitting the form. But in terms of his country Norway, he was involved in a fantastic 3-0 victory over Italy after another massive win for Norway in a World Cup qualifier. That is now 9 points out of 9, leaving them first in their group. Not only does Odegaard have a fantastic chance of making the World Cup, but the performance itself was also special. We're talking an 8.1 rating with 1 assist, 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, having now provided more assists with 5 than any other player in World Cup qualifying. The assist for Erling Haaland, a lovely cut-through pass down the middle. For Arsenal fans, it may have actually been a glimpse to the future, as Mikel Arteta tries to evolve the Arsenal midfield next season. With the arrival of Zubimendi alongside Rice, Arsenal will have the base there, with Odegaard allowed to play in a higher role and focus on his creativity. While the Sesko or Gyökeres, Arsenal will have runners in behind. You then partner that with a leading through ball maker in the entire Premier League, and the expectation is very clear. In a year where Martin Odegaard will need to provide more goals and more assists, watching him play for Norway grow more and more in confidence and show that passing him behind, are we seeing a glimpse into 2025-26? Now let's talk about potential Arsenal signing Martin Zubimendi. Starting for Spain in the Nation League final against Portugal, a game that was 2-2 went to extra time and Spain lost on penalties, despite Zubimendi giving Spain a 21st minute lead. Arriving into the box and poaching in a rebound, showcasing a surprising instinct inside the box, arguably Spain's best player on the day with a 7.9 rating. 1 goal, 2 key passes and 94% of passes completed. 2 out of 3 dribbles, 4 out of 8 ground duels won. As shown by his heat map, this guy was everywhere. The performance of a metronome dictating Spain's play. We also got a glimpse into his ball carrying ability. The example in the 82nd minute, picking up the ball in his own half, then bursting past the entire Portugal midfield, then picking out a pass that led to a shot. In a game that had Pedri, João Neves and Vitinha, Martin Zubimendi was a standout midfielder. It makes you wonder going forwards, how is he going to play alongside Declan Rice? Are Arsenal going to stick to their midfield three? Or could we see Mikel Arteta transition into a pivot? But for a deal is still yet to be confirmed. Reports coming out of Spain that Real Madrid still have interest. Fabrizio Romano has assured Arsenal fans that he's not going to Real Madrid, confirming that Zubimendi has closed his transfer with Arsenal, with even hand of Arsenal saying legal documentation has been exchanged and agreements are in place for the transfer of Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal, pending a medical. You've then got the Arsenal star boy Bukayo Saka, seen in Barcelona alongside the England squad. Despite Thomas Tuchel selecting him, Saka actually wasn't involved in the first game, as according to the reliable Sami Mokbel, he was left out of the squad due to a fitness issue, with no clarification of what the actual issue was. It could still be the hamstring or may just be fatigue. We cannot forget the fact that Saka missed nearly 3 months of football, then made his first start against Real Madrid in the Champions League. To have still seen glimpses of such a high level just shows the quality of the player. And here was the Arsenal star boy back in full training, set to become available once again as England take on Senegal. But in terms of his long-term future at the Emirates Stadium, according to reports in the UK, Arsenal Sport director Andrea Berta is seeking to finalise new long-term deals for 4 key Arsenal stars after Gabriel's new contract, from Bukayo Saka to William Saliba, alongside Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly. With Saka, reports have already confirmed that the deal is very advanced and Arsenal are closing into finalising that contract, set to make the star boy the highest paid player at the club, with whispers behind the scenes that Arsenal have also had positive talks with William Saliba. In terms of the 2 Arsenal star boys, Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri, according to Ryan Taylor, Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly are also in line for new deals, which will also include lucrative pay rises. Their current contracts are due to expire in the summer of 2026, but there is optimism agreements for both players are now in sight. For me, I have no doubt and I'm almost certain that both players will sign those contracts. These 2 are a part of Arsenal's long-term future. But one player that isn't is Nuno Tavares. After a fantastic loan spell with Lazio, a team that had a €9 million option to buy, Arsenal have now confirmed his official departure, as Nuno joins Lazio on a permanent deal. A player that always had potential but was also very frustrating, and Lazio playing as a more attacking wing-back, he is definitely thrived, with 9 assists last year in 30 appearances. Tavares has shown quite a few positive glimpses. So when you talk about the price tag of just €9 million, for a player 25 years of age growing year by year, there will be many Arsenal fans question the price tag. Have Arsenal undersold? Or the reported 40% sell-on clause? reports are emerging that Tavares could leave Lazio for 35 to 40 million euros, with very reliable reports in Portugal confirming Lazio rejected a 30 million euro bid from Al Hilal for Nuno Tavares. If that's a starting offer, then Arsenal could be getting a decent fee. But in terms of another confirmed departure, Arsenal have also confirmed that they have reached a mutual agreement with Jorginho to end his contract with immediate effect. One that was set to expire the end of June, but with the Club World Cup arising, an early transfer to Flamengo allows him to participate. One thing is for certain, the Arsenal midfield is going to change next season. But will Arsenal have a certain Thomas Partey? Well, despite reports last week that Thomas Partey had verbally agreed a new Arsenal contract, with just minor issues left to be ironed out, it seems like things are getting a bit more complicated. As reported now by Sam C, there is still no complete agreement yet on details for Thomas Partey's new contract. Arsenal are considering all options, despite Thomas verbally agreeing, which makes me question how can you have a verbal agreement and still not have everything agreed, with more reports coming out the UK claiming Arsenal made Partey what they considered a competitive offer around 10 days ago, but at this moment in time, there is still no agreement between the parties and the situation remains open. The key thing behind this is definitely going to be wages. Thomas Partey, currently earning nearly £250,000 a week, is one of Arsenal's highest paid earners. But with the arrival of Martin Zubimendi, a player that many believe will take Partey's place, Thomas is no longer a guaranteed starter, and that's where things get complicated. How much do you pay for a squad option? And how much is Thomas Partey willing to accept? 31 years of age, with this most likely being his last ever big deal. Fans can love the player, but it's also a profession. If other teams are offering more money and maybe even a starting place, especially when you think about all the reports coming out of Saudi Arabia, where the likes of Al Hilal are reportedly interested, the types of clubs that can offer you £500,000 a week that are tax-free. So as reports claim Arsenal are flexible and they're open to all options, if they cannot agree a Partey contract, will they enter the midfield market? Well, with the reliable hand of Arsenal confirming, Matteo Tognozzi will join Arsenal in his sub-director role to assist Andrea Berta, a man that was responsible for identifying talents such as Yildiz, Sule and Huijsen for the Juventus Next Gen program. With a brand new scout alongside Andrea Berta, the question will be if Arsenal are going for a midfielder. Do they go for an experienced player or do they go for a young prospect? With Partey being one of the few Arsenal players over the age of 30, not only would you be losing quality, but you'd also lose a lot of experience. One player that has popped up is Sevilla's Lucien Agume, a French defensive midfielder aged 23. After signing for Inter Milan at a very young age, last year starting for Sevilla week in week out, he locked down his place. After a strong end to the season with influential performances, also part of the French under-21 squad that will be at the Euros, we're talking a profile that has the fundamentals to be very similar to Thomas Partey, composed on the ball with excellent ball carrying ability, completing an impressive 76% of dribbles last season. But does he have the quality to play for an Arsenal side that are going for a title, having already lost the experience of Jorginho? Making two changes to the midfield in the same window, players that will need time to adapt to the Arsenal team and the environment. For me, the objective is clear. Try to see if Partey will sign a new contract. If not, be swift in the market and find the right opportunity. Moving on to Arsenal's first summer signing. In a window where so many Arsenal fans are focused on attackers and those exciting signings, the first official one is going to be different. Following the departure of Aaron Ramsdale last season, Arsenal were on the market for a number 2. They wanted Joan Garcia, but having missed that boat for a player who's now going to Barcelona, with the arrival of Andrea Berta, a key objective has been fund allocation. If the priority for Arsenal is improving the attack, then make sure all the money goes towards there as well. So after the departure of Neto returned to Bournemouth after his loan, Arsenal have made a move for Kepa Arrizabalaga of Chelsea, following 2 years on loan at Real Madrid and Bournemouth. As confirmed by David Ornstein, Arsenal are set to sign Kepa from Chelsea. The deal is in process of being finalised after the 30-year-old Spanish goalkeeper agreed to join Arsenal and fight for a place, with a £5 million release clause in his Chelsea contract. Don't get it twisted, this is not a game-changing signing, it's far from very exciting, but it all depends on what lens you see it through. Kepa is not going to be a long-term Arsenal starter. He's nowhere near a ceiling rating. But as reported by David Ornstein, before joining Bournemouth on loan last season, Kepa signed a new contract at Chelsea which inserted a £5 million release clause, but also significantly reduced his wages. Arsenal have simply seen a market opportunity for a Premier League proven goalkeeper. Less wages, £5 million, which not only gives them a decent base level second goalkeeper, but also allows them to spend more money in areas that are far more important. With other reports claiming that Kepa will sign a 3-year Arsenal contract, for me this screams a short-term opportunity. Get the player in for a season or 2, then when the time is right and you want to replace David Raya, go on the market and sign a top quality goalkeeper. When you've got a goalkeeper the quality of David Raya, ranked number 6 in the world by ESPN for the top 100 goalkeepers. Yes, there are better goalkeepers than David Raya, but not right now on the market. With goalkeepers being one of the few departments where Arsenal already have a top player, Kepa for £5 million is a solid deal. And according to the Gunner blog, Arsenal staff are long-term admirers of Kepa Arrizabalaga, and this is not the first time his name has been raised in recruitment conversations. The player understands the existing hierarchy at Arsenal, with David Raya as the number 1, but he is willing to fight for his place. For a keeper last year that prevented 2.1 goals, the 5th highest in the Premier League, with a save percentage of 71.3%, only slightly behind David Raya, as well as keeping an impressive 8 clean sheets, as Bournemouth had their best year in the Premier League era. For Arsenal fans, this deal was simply about not overthinking it. we were on the market for a number 2 goalkeeper. So to get one who has Premier League experience, after a year of being a starter, as long as the wages are fine and it's only £5 million, for me I see a solid deal. Full focus now turns to the attack, and as David Ornstein says, Arsenal are looking for a number 9, whether it be Benjamin Sesko or Gyökeres. They also want a top quality wide player, as well as some backup for Bukayo Saka on the right, all but confirming that Arsenal are after 3 separate attackers. We've talked about left wingers, we've talked about strikers, but what about West Ham's Mohamed Kudus? A player able to thrive on the right hand side just like Bukayo Saka after a year of disappointment at West Ham. According to reports, Arsenal are considering a move for Mohamed Kudus, with Newcastle and Chelsea also interested. Kudus wants to stay in Europe, and preferably in the Premier League. With only 5 goals and 4 assists last season, it was nowhere near the same level as 2023-24, but for a player who Arsenal had long-term interest in, having tried to sign him at Ajax before he went to West Ham, we're talking about a very versatile profile, as seen here playing across the entire front three for West Ham last season, as well as being an excellent ball carrier with 3.2 dribbles per game last season, only behind Ethan Nwaneri and Jeremy Doku. The idea of having this level of a backup for Bukayo Saka and maybe even a starter, this deal for me only happens if the price is right and how willing West Ham are to negotiate. And as Arsenal fans know after the saga of Declan Rice, they're not always the easiest club to get deals done with. But what about Jamie Gittins of Borussia Dortmund? Another wide forward reportedly on Arsenal's radar, but with another team in London making their move. After Chelsea made their opening offer of €35 million, which Borussia Dortmund rejected, according to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are set to improve their proposal with a brand new bid coming soon, having put a 7-year deal on the table. If we're talking a left wing specialist who's fantastic at ball carrying, Jamie Gittins is an outlier, one of the leading wide forwards in all of Europe for successful take-ons per 90. Still only 20 years of age with so much room to grow. The fundamentals are certainly there, but the issue that Arsenal might have, and definitely Chelsea, is the price tag set by Borussia Dortmund. As according to the reliable Christian Falk, after rejecting Chelsea's first offer for Jamie Gittins, Dortmund are now demanding €70 million. Arsenal are yet to make a move, and I think there's a reason behind that. With all the reports that Arsenal's number 1 striker targets Benjamin Sesko, a player who's just turned 22 and seen more as a project signing. You can't then also sign a project out wide. You need to go for more experience and a more ready-made player. Gittins has explosive potential, but for Arsenal fans, patience is running thin. They want to win now, and Gittins would not be a win-now player. So talking about experience and potential market opportunities, what about Rafael Leao of AC Milan? After finishing 8th in the Serie A last season and getting no European football, many people believe there could be a raid of Milan. Having already lost Reinders to Man City, could they be losing their star wide forward as well? Well, according to Florian Plettenberg, Rafael Leao wants to leave AC Milan, and the club has now been informed, with Milan wanting at least €70 million guarantee. Leao is on the list of FC Bayern Munich. There has been contact and phone calls, but nothing is advanced or concrete at this stage, with Bayern currently not preparing an offer. So if reports are to be believed that Andrea Berta is also a massive fan, I wonder if Mikel Arteta would be open. On the ball, Leao is an insane talent, with a level of power and ball carrying that can drive your team up the pitch. And the best example being in Spain's game against Portugal, coming off the bench and putting up an insane cameo, the way that he was using his body and carrying that Portugal team up the pitch. A profile for me that could thrive in the Champions League and be a real game changer, but off the ball he can be very stinky. Questions over his work rate and is he willing to track back, which of course is a key fundamental for Mikel Arteta. But with the way the football is evolving, maverick profiles becoming more and more important. Is Leao the quality of player that can force Mikel Arteta to make a slight change? Having seen Arne Slot last year talk to Mo Salah, keeping his star forward higher up the pitch, allowing him to have an insane goal-scoring season. Think about the quality of defenders that Arsenal also have. Saliba, Timber, Gabriel, all excellent 1v1. The question that I want to ask is, do they need that level of protection? Gone are the days of Rob Holding and Cedric Suarez. Arsenal have defenders that can be trusted. So with Arsenal having the number 14 and number 10 available, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Is Rafael Leao a player that you take at the Emirates Stadium? Now let's get the latest on Benjamin Sesko. After Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Arsenal were advancing in negotiations, now according to Florian Plettenberg, the feeling around a possible deal between Benjamin Sesko and Arsenal remains very positive. There is no full agreement yet, but the next round of talks is already scheduled. Mikel Arteta is keen on the striker, and Leipzig are still waiting for an official offer. With Plettenberg also saying on Sky Sports News, I'm totally convinced that Benjamin Sesko will play for Arsenal next season, which of course for Arsenal fans will be reassuring that a deal is definitely getting closer. But fans are impatient, and when they hear about a deal, they want it done as soon as possible. With Andrea Berta set to meet with Leipzig once again, a new meeting planned for Monday. The key for Arsenal and why it's taking so long is trying to get the price down as much as possible. We're not talking about a release clause, we're talking about a gentleman's agreement. Leipzig valued the player €80 million, but according to Ben Jacobs, Arsenal feel that they can secure a deal for around €70 million. This, my friends, is how transfers work, and we have a lot of experience of it. You'll never get a team that wants to pay the exact value of what the other club is asking for, unless of course that's Man United. But with the first arrival of the summer confirmed to be Kepa Arrizabalaga, Arsenal getting closer and closer to Benjamin Sesko, and a deal for Martin Zubimendi already at a here we go stage. A left winger is also going to be vital, and will that player be Rodrigo? My friends, talk to me about this window down below in the comments. If these are the 4 marquee signings that Arsenal make this summer, is that enough to get us over the line next season? Because when it comes to strikers and ready-made players, I get the argument of why some fans aren't convinced by Sesko, sick and tired of waiting and the process. One thing that I find very surprising is that the fact there is a striker on the market that is ready-made, for me a better profile than Victor Gyökeres, and no top club has gone for it. We are talking Nigerian international Victor Osimhen, after a fantastic loan spell at Galatasaray, scoring 37 goals in 41 games, 26 years of age in the peak of his powers. A profile that fits perfectly in the Arsenal team, especially when it comes to crosses and being so aerially dominant. After receiving an offer from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia with a salary of €850,000 per week, according to Fabrizio Romano, Osimhen has rejected it. Despite an agreement club to club with Napoli of a €75 million fee, Osimhen says no to the Saudi Pro League, with Galatasaray now being the only club still after the player. For me, I cannot believe, with the amount of top teams in Europe looking for a ready-made striker, the case of Victor Osimhen is very curious. But that is the video over there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal transfer news today, as Arsenal closed into their first summer signing, being Kepa Arrizabalaga of Chelsea. It's far from exciting, my friends, but if it allows us to focus on the attackers and sign the right players, I'm sure Arsenal fans won't care come the end of this window. My friends, I'll see you guys next time though. Take care of yourselves and bye.